Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. And in just a few minutes, Rich Vinci is going to be with us talking about consultants in the workplace. And he always has some interesting observations from in the trenches about consultants and what's going on in their world, which really applies to probably everybody else's world too. And you're always finding very interesting. We appreciate your comments about the program. Don't hesitate to write me, Tony@babbage.com, and TONY@BABICH. We take all listeners' feelings seriously, even the criticisms. Don't have a problem with it at all. Write us. Also, want to remind everybody that we'll send them a free book on finding a job. They make great gifts to people that you know that are looking for a job, or yourself if you're looking for a job. Include your name and address so that we can get it to you. Again, Tony@Babbage, BABICH.com, as a gift to the community. Lately, we've been spending 10 seconds being grateful. So think of three things you're grateful for you were grateful for what happened to you today, so that you can be in a good mood. Go. Being grateful. Nothing in the world like being grateful. You can't be unhappy when you're grateful. Just being really grateful. Lately, we've been discussing some of the myths of hiring. Oh boy, here's a myth that's really, really one that I've seen and experienced throughout the 51 years that I've been doing this. And it's the myth of the candidates had too many jobs in the last few years. Once a day, I get told that my candidates had too many jobs. Nobody, or very rarely, do people stop and say, well, why did that person have so many jobs? What were the circumstances that the companies that the person was in went away? Why did their jobs go away? What's too many jobs? 3 jobs in 3 years is probably considered too many jobs. And the candidate gets discounted totally because they've had 3 jobs in 3 years. And the people that usually state that don't even stop and ask, well, why do they have 3 jobs in 3 years? If they got fired from 3 jobs in 3 years, then that's one thing. If the companies were a risk and the companies went broke, or the companies got absorbed, or the companies went away, or there were good reasons as to why the person left the job, that might be reasonable. I fail to understand why the people that state this don't ask, well, why did they leave the jobs? They just assume that if a person's had 3 jobs in 3 years, that they're going to be at their company for 1 year. That's not necessarily true. As we mentioned a few weeks ago, that the average company is a lot younger than most companies were back years ago. Average company is only around for what, 5, 6, 7 years? And so you got to look at the reasons as to why they've had too many jobs. There might be good reasons. And if they can contribute to your company and they can contribute to the situation that you're in, it might be valuable to consider them. But just to write them off because they've had 3 jobs in 3 years, well, I guess you can do it. And a lot of firms do. Just, but to do it automatically with no rhyme or reason of asking why is really not necessarily that smart. Remember, the average firm was 59 years old when I got in this business in 1973. In 2009, the average company was 15 years old. Last year, the average company was 6.8 years old. Companies have a lot shorter lifespan than they used to. So you got to take that into consideration. Then the other side of that coin is candidates have been in their present company too long. What's too long? They now if they've been in the company 10 years and they've done the same job 10 times, that's one thing. If they've been in the company 10 years and they've grown and changed and learned different things, and that's another story. You got to ask the story behind each situation. And there's got to be a reasonable, it doesn't ask the questions, interview the candidate, find out. Okay, if they've been at one place for a length of time and they've gotten promoted reasonably well, there might be good reasons for them to have stayed. Find out why they left, if they left one job, three jobs in 3 years. But just to write it off as too long or too short, just by looking at the statements of time, is unfair to you and unfair to the candidate. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashar with the Job Search Solution.